Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along with us this summer, you know that we have been parked at one campground in northern Maine for the whole summer. On May 14th, we arrived at the KOA Campground in Houlton, Maine. And with the exception of a one-week trip down to Cape Cod, we have been here for the whole season. As full-time RV travelers, we spent the first year of our life on the road traveling around the eastern half of the U.S. But we got to thinking that we wanted to buy a piece of land in northern Maine where Jason grew up and make a summer camp here. Someplace that we could return to each summer to take a break from traveling and have a place where our kids and family can gather. So we decided to get what's called a seasonal site to stay at while we bought and developed our land, which you can see in some of our other videos. Most campgrounds offer the option of paying a cheaper rate to rent one campsite for the entire season, which usually means about 5 or 6 months. We got this full hookup site for 5 months for $2,180, which works out to $436 a month. That's all utilities included. Not bad for a monthly rental bill. From what we've seen traveling over the past year, there are two kinds of campers who use seasonal sites. The first is people who live nearby, maybe within a couple hours of the campground. They park their camper on the site, but they might only come on the weekends or use it on holidays, and this might be their designated vacation spot that they come back to year after year. The second kind is people who live in their campers full-time for the whole season. We've met several people in our travels who say they move twice a year. They go north for the summer and south for the winter, and they mostly stay at the same two campgrounds when they move back and forth. There's also a third group of people who live at campgrounds permanently. At campgrounds that are open year-round, which tend to be more in the south, there are always sections with more permanent trailers, cabins, and campers. There can sometimes be a little tension between the permanent residents and the transients, which is what we are called, the people who come in and out. But we've mostly found them to be friendly and welcoming in our travels. So I wanted to share with you some things that we have found to be unique to staying at a seasonal site versus moving every week or two to different campgrounds. And this is just our experience, of course. The first is getting to know the rhythms of the campground. Generally, we don't really spend time getting to know the staff at different campgrounds or pay much attention to how things are run. But here, we have gotten to know the owners, David and Michelle, and their story. They just purchased this campground a year ago from an old widow who had been running it with her late husband for years as just a regular campground. They converted it into a KOA, and they've been working so hard to improve the grounds and update everything. This is their first full season open, and I think we were one of the first people to book a site here. There are a handful of other rigs that have been parked here all season, but I think we might be the only full-timers actually living here. So that means we've had a front row seat to all the comings and goings and changes. We are fascinated by how empty the campground is sometimes during the week, and then we watch the rigs roll in every weekend and fill up the campground. We have seen some families who regularly come a few weekends a month, or people might just stop by for a night or two. We also get to participate in the campground events. There are cookouts for holidays and parties for the kids. Plus, we love having this great trail system right outside our door to take nature walks in. It feels like we're part of really a community.
All right. So what's going on today, Lacey?
I finally get to hand out Halloween candy at a campground. We missed it last year, and it's only the end of September, but campgrounds usually do it early in the fall because they're usually closed by Halloween up around here. So I'm excited the kids are coming around now in their little costumes. In addition to being more in tune with the rhythms of the campground, we've really embraced the rhythms of the town. We have just fallen in love with Houlton, Maine this summer, and we're so glad that it's going to be our hometown when we are up at camp. Normally, when we are traveling, we make a point to visit the nearby towns and walk the main streets and shop in the grocery stores, and maybe we'll get lucky with a local museum or a festival here and there. But being here for several months, we've been able to go deeper into the life of the town. We've listened to the community band that plays in the park every Thursday, and we were excited along with the rest of the town when a new pizza place opened up in Market Square. We visited the local movie theater, and we discovered how far we could walk on the Riverside Trail. There's a difference between visiting a town and living in a town, and we definitely feel more connected to the town and its people after this summer. We also feel more connected to the wider area of Aroostook County. As you know, Jason grew up here, but there are many parts of the county that he never had a reason to visit growing up. Exploring the northern towns along the Canadian border has been a highlight for us this summer, and we've done several videos highlighting the different towns and festivals. And we had no idea that there were so many Amish people in the county. My parents live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so we are used to Amish people and culture, but we were surprised to see them so far north in Maine. There are about 850 Amish living in Maine, and it's been fascinating to see them working on their farms and workshops. The Amish down in Lancaster tend to keep to themselves, and they seem to try to ignore all the tourists who are gawking at them all the time. But up here, we were surprised to see lots of friendly waves and smiles from the Amish whenever we encounter them. Probably because they're more secluded up here and they're not as much of a tourist attraction. We have been driving by this sign all summer, Wynn's Trailside Popcorn. It's on the ATV trail system. You can see the yellow diamond here means the ATVs can go here. And this is the first time that we have actually driven back there to see the popcorn stand, and we got some. It's so fun. This would be a great place to bring guests down to on our new ATV from our land next summer.
Trying out the pumpkin spice and white chocolate. She said it's not just a fall favorite. It's so good she just does it year round.
It's delicious.
Fun. So we're stopping by a roadside stand. These are really common towards the end of summer for the new potatoes, and it's just a potato stand. Sometimes there might be more farm, like cucumbers, things like that. So get some Three Bears Maine potatoes here just outside of Mars Hill, Maine. Some good Maine potatoes.
And these are new potatoes, so they're the small ones.
Yeah.
Back at the campground, we also found we could spread out a bit more at a seasonal campsite. Normally, if we're moving every week or two, we might not take the time to set up our outdoor furniture or decorations, but we've had the luxury here of having our gazebo up, and we even got a bird feeder. And when you're at a seasonal site, you can do things like hang a bird feeder for the season. We loved having a bird feeder at our house in Connecticut. I suppose you could do this if you're moving around, but the chances of you forgetting it, pretty high.
Look at him go.
Of course, you can have these things if you're moving around, but we find that most full-time travelers try to keep things light and minimize packing and unpacking as much as possible, especially with extra furniture and stuff. And being at a seasonal site gives you more time to work on those larger projects. I spent a few weeks doing all those decor projects you saw in my Easy RV decor video. It was nice to be able to spread out and not have to worry about packing up supplies or rush to finish projects because we had to move. And there was also plenty of time for Jason to break in his new smoker.
All right. That looks good.
And lastly, there's one extra piece of maintenance that you'll want to be aware of when you are parked at a long-term site. One thing you're going to want to make sure you do if you're at a seasonal site for more than 1 or 2 months is to rotate your tires. So you don't want your tires sitting on the ground flat for more than about a month at a time, because they'll create flat spots in that tire, and then when you go to drive, it won't wear evenly or drive evenly. So we've been here for 4 months now. A couple of months ago, we did rotate the tires. Unfortunately, we didn't think of this before we did it, but we hooked up everything to the truck like it was a regular moving day. We cleaned up everything inside, we put all the slides in, we hooked up the truck, and then we rolled 2 feet forward to roll those tires. Well, as soon as we did it, we said, wow, we should have just raised the jacks a little bit to release the pressure off the tires, rolled them around, and then put the jacks back down. So we thought that would be so much faster. So today we're going to try it that way. However, we still had to clean up a significant amount inside. We had to take everything off the counters that could possibly roll. Even if we're just lifting the RV a little bit, that's enough if something is round on the counter, glasses or bottles or anything like that. So we've cleaned up the counters inside. We've picked up things off the floor. We've made sure all of the cords are out of the way so nothing's going to get caught. And we put the slides in because we don't want to adjust the jacks with the slides out. That might be an uneven weight balance on the RV. So you can see here we put all the slides in. We've marked our tires with some blue tape of where they are sitting so we can make sure we're rotating them 180 degrees. And now we're going to raise the jacks. No, it's still not free yet.
There we go. We're going to free.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, stop. Keep going. Okay, stop. All right, put it back down. This is the kind of project that is very easy to make mistakes because you are moving quickly and you think this shouldn't take very much time, let's just do it quick. Well, we forgot to put up our stairs, and halfway through the re-leveling process, I noticed that the stairs were moving along the ground, and so we had to stop and put those up. So we really needed to treat it as a total moving day teardown. I mean, not total, but you have to think about all of the steps that you would normally do on a moving day and ask yourself, do I need to do this if I'm even going to move my rig a couple of inches off the ground? Okay, the tires are covered back up, the slides are back out. I'd say altogether that probably took us an hour because we were fiddling around inside with putting things away and bringing the slides in and trying to figure out what we were doing. And it did take a bit of time to re-level the rig after we rotated the tires. So I wish it didn't take that long. It seems like such a simple thing. Raise the RV, spin the tires, put it back down. But it is a little bit more of a process, but very important to do at least once a month. Well, the leaves are changing and it's time to get back on the road. It's been a really unique experience spending the entire season here at the Holton KOA. I'm going to miss the walking trails here and the nice front yard that we had. And of course, it's the last place that we had Griffin. So it will always be special to us. Well, this was going to be my last episode in Maine, but I have one more bonus to share with you next week. We recently discovered the International Appalachian Trail. It starts where the famous Appalachian Trail ends at Mount Katahdin, and it travels through Maine and Canada all the way to Europe. So we're going to show you more about that next week, and then we'll hit the road and make our way west. Until then, I hope you can take advantage of some beautiful fall weather and get outside and explore outside your door. Have a great week. Bye.